All right. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? Shout out to everyone tuning in tonight. Appreciate you. Much appreciated. Make sure to drop that like. Subscribe to the channel. Be much appreciated. We got a lot to dive into today. I'm telling you, a lot. A little bit more than yesterday. Moves upon moves, trade upon trades, restructures, stuff like that. We have a lot to dive through. A lot. Appreciate y'all. Much appreciated. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Up and running there. Let's see if we're up and running on Facebook. I believe we are. So I used to go live on Facebook quite a bit. That's actually how I started. But I decided to skip that, go back to YouTube. However, I think the information I'm going to bring today is, important enough for other people to want to take a listen. So, yep, we are up. We are running on Facebook. Shout out to y'all. Hope you all had a fantastic night last night. Vikings for life. YouTube gang, let's go. Shout out to you. What's going on, my guy? But man, we had a busy day. I think it didn't stop till about 11 o'clock last night. Signings, left and right. I mean, I made a video, I think at 9:45-ish, somewhere around there. Posted it, got it going. So, yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. But we got a lot to start, or a lot to dive through today. So let's get right into the thick of things. Let me get this music paused. Even though I don't want to. I'm going to pause that. Bada bing, bada boom, check, check. All right, we're in business. We are in business. Shout out Vikings for life for joining and commenting. Appreciate you. Big, big appreciation. Now, I'm telling you, when I'm telling you we got a lot to talk about, I'm not joking. Okay, this whole sheet's filled, front and back, basically. But the first thing that we're going to talk about, I'm going to dive through the start of the day, and we're going to work our way to just briefly what happened a couple seconds ago, and kind of finish the show off that. We'll probably go for about an hour again like we did yesterday, maybe a little bit over an hour. Not really sure. It depends on, how fast I talk about this, how the chat's going, and how everyone's feeling. But shout out A-Rules. What's up, my guy? Appreciate you for tuning in. Are you ready to hear some news? Because there's a lot, like I've mentioned many times. All right, so let's get right to it. Starting off the bat, the first move of the day, kind of a shocker, okay? A little bit. Now, Taylor Heinicke has been a dog for the Washington Commanders. I did not see him leaving Washington unless other circumstances came about. And however, it has been noted that Taylor Heinicke, per Tom Pelissero, let's get right to it. For the Falcons and Taylor Heinicke, it's a 2-year deal. Yes, Taylor Heinicke heading to the Atlanta Falcons. It's a 2-year deal worth up to $20 million per source. Atlanta has said that Desmond Ridder is the starter, and that's top-end backup money. Now, for them to say Desmond Ridder is, going to be the starter is kind of weird because Lamar Jackson's available. And he was pissed today on social media. Absolutely irate on Twitter. In Atlanta right away, as soon as Lamar Jackson was able to go seek opportunities elsewhere because he was given the unrestricted free agent thing, Atlanta immediately said, we're out. We're out of the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. We are going to roll with Desmond Ridder. And now they lock up their backup quarterback, Taylor Heinicke. Now that tells you right then and there they are actually probably out of the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. And probably more teams as well, like Carolina, which they got to move here. I believe we're going to talk about, towards the end of the show. Actually, one of the last things that we're going to be talking about is the Carolina Panthers and what moves that they have done. But Taylor Heinicke, 2 years, $20 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons. He gets to move on, gets to show Atlanta what he's all about. I believe he's actually from Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. So a hometown kid going back to where he's from, obviously, hometown. All right, back to Atlanta. Yeah, no problem, A-Rules. About that Kirk thing. So basically what happened with Kirk is they needed to restructure something. They need to figure something out. So he is on his contract right now, right? Last year of his contract right now. But in this contract, he has 2 voidable years. Okay, so that means this year and 2 years down the line where we can basically have the opportunity to push his money, which he has right now, down the line. Even if he's not on our team, we can push that money down the line. That is basically what the Minnesota Vikings did. They took his contract and kind of basically shoved it into those voidable years so that it took $16 million off the cap. That is all that happened, okay? He's going to be the Minnesota Vikings quarterback this season, all right? And then we'll kind of reevaluate the situation, I believe, probably at the end of this upcoming season to see if we want Kirk for another 3 years, give him a franchise deal, or are we going to move on with the opportunity that there might be somebody better in next year's draft, right? So we're not really sure what we're going to do with Kirk at this point. We just needed to clear cap space, and that was one of the opportunities or one of the ways that the Vikings could do so. That's the whole Kirk Cousins situation, okay? And what's up, boxing? But yeah, and Taylor stays in D.C.? No, he does not, unfortunately. Let's see. If that's the case, who's going to be next for quarterback for Washington? That's a good question. That is a very good question. So right now, I believe they have Sam Howell is their quarterback. And yeah, so it's either that or they're going to have to go sign a veteran. I can't remember if they did sign a veteran off the top of my head. But Sam Howell is their quarterback. I'm assuming maybe they're going to be in play to draft one. I'm not 100% sure who they have or what pick they have in the draft. Let's see. Washington Commanders draft picks. Okay, here we go. Here's a list of them. So they have the 16th overall pick. You got to assume that a quarterback is going to fall there. You have to assume that there's going to be one quarterback that's going to fall to number 16 overall. Okay. And sorry if I'm a little bit behind the chat. I'm just going to go kind of down the line and kind of read it. But yeah. So I'm not sure. Let's see. What's up, Mark? What's up? What's up, John? Good backup. Very decent backup. Getting big money for a backup. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So then after this coming season, see if we cut him or extend him. Yes, correct. Bro, the NFC North is going to be a blast to watch. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Who knows what's going to happen with the Aaron Rodgers sweepstake? Kind of sounds like he's headed to the New York Jets. He told the Jets earlier today that he has or wants a certain thing or a couple things to happen if he's going to go there. Okay, Alan Lazard needs to be there. Mercedes Lewis needs to be there. I believe, OBJ needs to be there. And I can't remember if there was one other person that needs to be in the Jets, and then Aaron Rodgers would probably do it. But I don't know if that's, if he's just blowing smoke or if that was actually him or what the case actually was. But that's kind of what's going to happen. So we got Jordan Love probably going to be the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. The Lions, they're a decent team. They just have to make more moves. They really haven't made too many this offseason. The Chicago Bears, Bear Don, am I right? They are making moves left and right. They still have like $50 million in cap space to spend. They're doing it right. Okay, Chicago could be a good team coming down this next season. So interesting. You don't think this season's a good a good quarterback draft class? Actually, I think it's decent, man. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson's gonna be a dog. Then you're looking at who else? Hendon Hooker's gonna be a dog. I don't know, man. I think this year's quarterback draft class is deep. Okay, but there's a chance that a lot of them don't pan out, but there's also that chance that some of them do. Okay, so I think it's a decent quarterback class. I really do. I really believe it. Boxing for Anthony Richards. Yeah, exactly. You don't see Anthony Richardson being a top 3, John, or turning out? I think Anthony Richardson's going to be just fine. He's got the build. He played with a crappy Florida team and led them to a decent season anyways. Why do you say that? Yeah, A rules. They will get a backup for Jordan Love. They will. They'd have to. Only Drew Brees could overcome size of Bryce Young. Yeah. Thoughts on the Vikings secondary? Booty cheeks, unfortunately. We need to make a move. We need to make a move ASAP. Okay? I've been waiting for it. Yesterday, I was pretty pissed. When the first thing the Vikings did when the legal tampering period opened up was, you know what? Let's give a tight end 3 years, $21 million so he can run block. Hell yeah, brother. Sign me up. No, what are we doing? We don't need a tight end right now. We need DBs. We got 4 on our current roster. Patrick Peterson signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We need another guy. Like, what are we doing? Get a corner. And the only thing that makes me wonder, or the only thing that's kind of keeping me afloat for that, is that there's probably a potential possibility that means the Vikings are going to draft one with that 24th overall pick. That is what that's telling me. I want a Pappy back too as well. I think he's a dog. He's a veteran. Okay, he's been there, done that. He doesn't seem like he's lost the step too much. 5 interceptions last season. I mean, he was one of the cornerstones to our defense, man. Like, I don't know. The Vikings got to figure out their secondary, and I'm not sure if they're going to or not. Because, I mean, we've drafted how many corners in the first round for how many years now? And we only have one of them left, Andrew Booth Jr. So, it sucks, man. It sucks. We need to fix that right now. Honestly, it was Pat P, man. I mean, he was an unrestricted free agent. His contract was up. He said that he wouldn't mind coming back to Minnesota. That just wasn't in the plan. Wasn't in the plan. Yes, that is confirmed. A-Rules. That is confirmed. Speaking of which, let's get right to that news because I got it in here as Boxing MMA has officially broke it. This just in. Let's see if I can find it. Boom. Bada bing. Bada boom. As Boxing said. Another big trade. The Colts are sending 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback Stephon Gilmore to the Cowboys for a 2023 fifth-round compensatory pick. Sources tell Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. This is a big-time trade. I liked it, but at the same time, I don't like it because... No, you're good, man. You're good, Boxing. If I got it in here, I'm going to show it. I forgot my pen, so I'm not going to be able to cross it off, but when I get to it, I'll know that I've already talked about. But this is a big, big trade. Dallas secondary just got a whole lot better. Now you have Stephon Gilmore and Trevon Diggs on each side. I mean, good luck throwing the ball against them, even though Trevon Diggs likes to let up the deep ball every now and then. Every now and then. Okay? Every now and then. Yes. Yes, you did. Yeah, exactly. You do you. If you got stories, let me have them. Let me have them. Tell me about it. Because there's some that I don't have right now that we're going to get to once I kind of wrap all this whole thing up. But yeah, Stephon Gilmore to the Dallas Cowboys. Massive trade that just happened basically a little over an hour ago. I'm excited to see what happens down there in Dallas, right? I think Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, they kind of restructured their deals a little bit to get some more cap. And they're making moves, man. They don't want to lose no more. I call the Dallas Cowboys the entertainment team, not America's team, the entertainment team. And you can hate me for it. I really don't care. But it's just the simple fact that they're always in the news. You're always hearing something about Dallas. Dallas this, Dallas that. They're going to go. They're going to win the Super Bowl this year. They're going to be a phenomenal team. And then what happens? They choke. Every single year. So I'm going to continue to call them the entertainment team until they win a Super Bowl. Because they're entertaining to watch or entertaining to hear about. But ultimately, in the end, they choke, just like our Minnesota Vikings. But at least I have a little bit more hope. And I'm actually a fan of the Vikings. Okay? Okay. Do we have anything about the Giants? We do. We definitely do have something about the Giants. Shall we get to it? Shall we get to it? Where is it at? Right there. Okay. So, another big trade that happened today was, there it is, boom. Was this? Let me read the comment. Gilmore in the team, he's going to help learn the young. Yeah. Yeah, for real. Coca-Cola should. All right, here we go. We got some Darren Waller news. Big trade coming out of Ian Rappaport. He says, Blockbuster, the Giants are finalizing a trade to acquire star tight end Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders. This deal happened about like around noonish, 1 o'clock-ish, something like that. This is massive, okay? Danny Dimes signs his extension. Saquon Barkley gets franchise tagged. What do? They say, hey, Danny Dimes, we got you a weapon, okay? Now, essentially, this trade was from the Kadarius Toney pick from the Giants. So, remember, the Giants traded Kadarius Toney to the Kansas City Chiefs. In return, they got pick number 100, which is in the 3rd round. The Giants essentially took that pick and traded it to the Raiders to land tight end Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders. This is huge. What do you guys think about this move? Does this help the Giants? Bro, for real, right, John? What a signing is hilarious. Hey, Rules, all you need to know about him is he's a dog, okay? Let's go look at his stats real quick. Darren Waller is a stud, okay? Darren Waller's stats, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, well, the last 2 years he wasn't that great, but I think he was hurt the last 2 seasons, so there's questions of him being injury prone and stuff like that. But let's see. His best 2 years were in 2019, where he had 1,145 yards, 3 tutties. And then in 2020, he followed it up with 1,196 yards, 9 tutties. The past 2 years, basically, a total of just over 1,000 yards and 5 total touchdowns the last 2 seasons. So he kind of slowed down a little bit, but I honestly, I'm pretty sure it's the fact that he was just hurt. But as for Darren Waller, right, we're going to look at his contract real quick. This is kind of what he's getting. It says Field Yates said Darren Waller is under contract for 4 more seasons. Here's what the Giants owe him. In 2023, the Giants will owe him $11 million salary, a $200,000 workout bonus, up to $1.25 million in per game bonuses. Okay, now in 2024, he gets about $10.5 million, somewhere around there in salary, another $200,000 workout bonus, and then up to $1.25 million in per game bonuses. And then in 2025, $11.5 million salary, again, another $200,000 workout bonus, and up. So he's making a lot of money. He's still under contract for at least 4 more seasons. The Giants land a massive, massive target that I probably didn't see coming. And to be honest, I'm going to go get a pen so that if I jump around too much, I can actually know what I talked about and what I didn't, because it's going to bug me. It's going to absolutely bug the shit out of me. So I will be right back. It'll literally take me a second. But we're going to jam out. I'll get you guys some music while I'm going real quick. Be right back. All right, so we talked about the Taylor Heineke signing to the Atlanta Falcons for 2 years. That's a bingo, bango, bongo. We also talked about the Giants trading for Darren Waller, who is still under contract for another 4 years. Essentially, they took that pick that they got for trading Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs, and they traded that to the Raiders to get Darren Waller. Massive, massive signing there from the Giants. We also, I believe, talked about the Colts trading Stephon Gilmore to the Dallas Cowboys, the entertainment team. The entertainment team. Yeah. We're going nowhere. For real. Seattle. What does that have to do with anything? That's hilarious. I like it. Seattle's your team. I bet you were pissed when Russell left. But hey, you got Geno Smith now. You guys are balling out. So let's get to more news around the league. Let's touch. That was like a week or two ago, I think. Yeah, he signed that extension for like a couple years. Can't remember the exact or the official. I did cover that. It's on one of my videos. If you just go to my library, you can see it there. Geno Smith extension. Trust me, it's there. Promise. All right. Next up, we heard about Jason Kelce. Okay, there's questions of him retiring this past offseason, or this offseason, I should say. However, that was not the case. Yesterday, he announced that he is officially coming back to the Philadelphia Eagles. So what exactly happened with that deal? Well, let's show you. He signed a nice contract. Per Ian Rappaport, it's official. Jason Kelce has agreed to a 1-year deal worth $14.25 million with a max value of $14.75 million. Absolute dough. Jason Kelce back in Philly. Surprised by this, but not really, okay? For the type of athlete that he is, the type of player he is, I couldn't see him leaving. I didn't think that was going to be the case, especially the way it ended. Why leave a team that is poised to probably go on another Super Bowl run? Just doesn't make any sense to me. So they had to do something, right? They had to do something. And that was to keep Jason Kelce. He decides, I want to come back. I want to play another season. So 1 year, $14.25 million. I think it's still the highest paid center in the league. He's grinning ear to ear. He's going to run it back with Philadelphia. Excited to see what happens there. Because a big question surrounding Philadelphia this season was, for me anyways, was that they're not going to have an offensive line. Everyone's going to leave. They're all old. Defensive line, they're all old. They're going to leave. Like, how are they actually going to be? Well, all these vets are saying, let's run it back. Let's run it back, baby. We made it to the Super Bowl. Why can't we do it again? So Jason Kelce is back on a 1-year deal. Pretty good signing, I'd say. Great signing. Correct. All right. So there we got that off the list. Jason Kelce back in Philadelphia. Pretty massive signing. We also forgot to talk about another trade. Don't know why I have the picture up here, but I don't even have it on there. What are we doing? Didn't even save it on here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, have a lot of cap space to clear up today, and they started it off with basically trading guard Shaq Mason to the Texans. So the Texans are boosting their offensive line, trying to protect whoever the hell their quarterback's going to be. Not sure who it is. Maybe it's C.J. Stroud. Maybe it's Bryce Young. Maybe it's Anthony Richardson. Not really sure. Don't give a damn until I see that the news actually happens. But, hey, they're making sure whoever comes in is going to be protected. Shaq Mason traded from the Bucs to the Texans. Let's see how their season ends up going. All right. Another massive signing. Actually, the first signing for a wide receiver in this year's legal tampering period or since free agency opened up. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Jacoby Myers. Played for the Patriots last season, was an absolute animal. He had a pretty decent season, I believe. If I could pull up his stats, we'll get that ready for you. Should have done this beforehand, but I'm sorry about it. Don't care. Here we go. Per Ian Rappaport, the Raiders are signing Patriot free agent wide receiver Jacoby Myers to a 3-year deal worth $33 million. He gets $21 million guaranteed, another New England Las Vegas tie-in, and a weapon for Jimmy G. The deal was negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey. Now, Jacoby Myers, he's a baller, dude. He's a consistent receiver. I like this. I like it a lot. Last year, 804 yards, 6 tutties. Okay, and then in 2021, 866 yards, 2 tutties. In 2020, 729 yards. So he's a very consistent receiver. He can play slot. He can play the outsider or the out wide, basically, and just get the job done. He hasn't really had anything for a quarterback other than Mac Jones, who's a check down guy. I believe he started his season or his career off with Cam Newton at quarterback, and that was the New England Patriots 7-9 season, so not the greatest thing in the world. But Jacoby Myers ends up in Las Vegas for Jimmy G. Now they have Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Hunter Renfrow, I believe. Nope, Zay Jones is gone if I'm not mistaken. So they got a solid 1-2 punch, maybe actually a solid 1-2-3 punch. They do lose Darren Waller, but they get a pickup in free agency with Jacoby Myers. So good for the Las Vegas Raiders. A Rules says, do we have anything about Deshaun Watson? Wasn't he a Brown? Sorry if I keep going. Oh, you're good, A Rules. I'll read it once I get to it. So Deshaun Watson's situation is interesting, right? Signed that $230 million fully guaranteed contract just last season. Didn't have that great of a year with the Cleveland Browns, but he had some rust to shake off. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. However, amidst the Lamar Jackson contract talks, the Browns have decided to basically restructure Deshaun Watson's cap, restructure his current salary, because I think he was like $62 million against the books next year, and then the year after that, and the year after that. So he's a very expensive quarterback, and the Browns decided to basically, I think they just pushed it down into voidable years. They didn't really restructure it at all. They just pushed it away so that it could clear up, I believe, like $20 million in cap or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, Zay Jones is on the Jags. I knew he was gone. I knew. So, yeah, that is kind of what's happening with Deshaun. Nothing really serious. He's still going to be the Cleveland Browns starter. They just kind of restructured a little bit of his contract and kind of pushed it down to those voidable years. He did get a ridiculous contract. Massive, massive contract for a guy that didn't play in a year and a half. That's what they signed him for. Okay. Reset the quarterback market. Teams are probably pissed. I know Lamar Jackson's chomping at the bit to get more than that. Maybe. You never know. Yes, 100%. A Rules, you are right on with that one. That is basically what happened with Deshaun Watson. Basically what happened with him. They just pushed it down. Because see now these money rich or these rich owners, right? They have the ability. There's like a loophole in the contracts now where you can add voidable years. So that way you can just take the money and push it down the line. Eventually it's going to come back to kind of bite you in the ass. But they did it basically solely off the fact that how do you want to say it? They want to sign other people, like other good players. I could have worded that way better. If you kind of catch my drift. Like if let's say OBJ, right? Your team wants to sign OBJ. Okay? But he wants $20 million a year, but your quarterback's taking up $62 million of that. Okay? You're going to be like, "Oh crap. Well, sorry, we can't afford it, so we're going to push it down." That's why we're going to add these voidable years. So it's like the salary cap is kind of fake, but it really isn't. Because there's always ways to manipulate it and push it down the line further in the future, and that's kind of what they did for Deshaun Watson. So I hope I kind of gave that to you as simple as possible. But yeah, man, that is what happened. Jacoby Myers is a Las Vegas Raiders, joins Jimmy G and crew. Devontae Adams, obviously, down there. Great signing for them, I think. Perfectly. Yes, exactly, because they needed more cap room. Yes. Shout out to y'all for joining me today on YouTube, and if you're on Facebook, shout out to y'all. Make sure to drop that like, subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook, I should have done this. You can go to my bio, I believe, and there should be a link there, or you can just go to YouTube and get your fix with the Wicks and watch me on there. I just put it on YouTube or on Facebook to make sure everyone can get this information. But let's move forward. Dallas Cowboys made another move. Okay, they traded for Stephon Gilmore. Pretty solid trade, I'd say. But they also re-signed a safety. Okay? Per Mike Garafolo, the Cowboys have agreed to terms to re-sign safety Donovan Wilson to a 3-year deal worth up to $24 million, with the first 2 years fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed, $13.5 million, sources say. The deal was confirmed by Wilson's agent, Kevin Connor, and Robert Brown of Uni Sports Management. Now, I don't really know too much about Donovan Wilson at all, so I apologize. If you guys know anything about him, you can help me out here. Tell me what he's done and what he hasn't done, but I'm looking at his stats right now, okay? Right now, I'm going to pull up his stats. It's kind of a weird way of laying it out, but okay. So last year, in 17 games, 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, 5 sacks. Okay, so he gets to the quarterback. 101 tackles. All right, I can understand why the Dallas Cowboys decided to re-sign safety Donovan Wilson to a 3-year deal. This makes a lot. See, I really don't know him either, but now looking at his stats, I'm like, okay, how didn't I know anything about him? I mean, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and interception, 101 tackles. Okay. And then what? In 2020, he had 3.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 71 tackles. So that means, okay, yeah, so in 2021, he was injured. Yeah, it's great. That's perfect production out of your safety. Perfect production out of your safety. Donovan Wilson. Okay, here we go. Dallas is kind of locking up that secondary. Now they have Donovan Wilson. They have, what's his name, Trevon Diggs. They landed Stephon Gilmore via that trade that we talked about just a couple moments ago. And who is their other safety? Is it Cedric Wilson? No, that can't be right. Maybe it is, but I have no idea. But Donovan Wilson back with the Dallas Cowboys on a 3-year, $24 million deal. 2 first years are guaranteed or fully guaranteed at $13.5 million. Congrats on Donovan Wilson and the Dallas Cowboys for getting that deal done. We have another deal that is coming. It's a decent deal. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it is something. This is going to be per Tom Pelissero. All this I'm finding from, obviously, Twitter. Following all the insiders, so that helps a lot. And my Twitter has been blowing up, and it's been absolute bonkers. But, look, Miami has been making moves, right? We've seen them last year sign Tyreek Hill. They're rolling with Tua. They signed, Terran Armstead or something like that. They were in it for the long haul. Their season didn't go quite as planned, okay? But they're trying to figure things out this season. What do? Well, they go out and they trade for Jalen Ramsey. They only gave him a fifth round pick, I think, and tight end Hunter Long or something like that. Like, absolutely bamboozled everybody. How don't I have that saved? What are we doing? No way it's up there. But they bamboozled. They bamboozled the Rams. Okay, but they did that. So here's another move via Tom Pelissero that the Miami Dolphins are signing or re-signing running back Raheem Mostert to a 2-year deal, $5.6 million, with $2.2 million of that guaranteed per sources. I like this signing. Raheem Mostert's been a phenomenal running back. He's quick as shit. I like what he brings to the table, especially for Miami and what they're trying to run. Mike McDaniel, their head coach, obviously was a running backs coach, I believe, in San Fran. Raheem Mostert played there to start his career. But last year with Miami, Raheem Mostert had 890 spectacular. Okay, nothing that's going to blow out of the water or make you just go, wow, I want him on my team. But a decent running back, I'd say, at least. Okay? That was his best year, actually, with rushing yards wise. Touchdown wise, 2019 was his best year with 8 tutties. So the Dolphins lock him up, and I believe there was also one other move, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So in hand with re-signing Raheem Mostert to that 2-year deal, they also re-signed Jeff Wilson. Also was on the 49ers with Mike McDaniel, bounced over to Miami last season, had a decent year. He is signing a 2-year, $8.2 million deal as well with the Miami Dolphins. I like this signing. I think it's good to retain your running backs, especially once they are basically a dime a dozen. You can find them wherever, however, whenever. Okay? You can get them. But Jeff Wilson, another guy that you can kind of rely on to give you what you need. And he had, let's see, wrong number. He had 860 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. So you're going to get a nice 1-2 punch out of Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert. That's what Miami's looking into. Now it's just up to them to see what they do next in this draft. Like, do they go draft a quarterback? Do they draft a receiver to pair with Jalen Waddle and whoever else they got over there? So Raheem Mostert back, Jeff Wilson back with the Miami Dolphins. I like those signings. Good for Miami. Next up, before we get to Michael Thomas. Okay? Yesterday we talked about Austin Eckler and him basically seeking permission to speak with other teams for a possible trade. Now that is coming off of basically because their contract extension talks kind of dwindled away Nothing was really happening. Something needed to happen. Austin Eckler wants a deal. He's only like $6.25 million against the cap, or that's his salary for this upcoming season. For what he's been able to do, 25 rushing touchdowns, 17 total or 13 total receiving touchdowns the past 2 seasons. I mean, the dude's a beast. Okay, he deserves a contract. Now, I understand what he's 28 years old or something like that. He's getting up there, and we've talked about it. Running backs are a dime a dozen. You can find them wherever, whenever. Okay? But Austin Eckler isn't just a running back. He's a receiving back as well. He can get it done both ways. Okay, that should mean something. And there's going to be a team out there that's going to give him that contract extension. Now, today, after Austin Eckler sought permission to do so, the Chargers have granted Austin Eckler permission to speak with other teams for a potential trade that might be coming. Not really sure when that's going to happen, but just know there's a couple landing spots that I've seen float around, one of them being the Detroit Lions. I don't know if I like that as a Viking fan. I don't like it at all, not one bit. But if that happens, it makes a lot of sense, especially if Jamal Williams is kind of it seems like Jamal Williams might be out of the building, might be going to Cincinnati. I guess there's been talks of that. So then that would probably free up some space. Maybe they send DJ Chark and something else over for Austin Eckler via that trade, and their running back room instantly gets better. Like, what do they do with DeAndre Swift, who's kind of been in the dumps? At least last season, it seemed like he was. It wasn't himself, anyways, if I'm stating that correctly. But Austin Eckler could be going to Detroit. Oof. Well, that stinks. Or he could go to New England. Or like John said yesterday, Carolina needs someone. Carolina needs a running back. Do you think he goes there? I like Carolina. I think Austin Eckler to Carolina would be a phenomenal move. An absolute phenomenal move. Wouldn't you agree? 38 rushing touchdowns, and as a receiving, 38 total touchdowns receiving and rushing combined. Dog. Savage. Austin Eckler's a stud, man. Absolute stud. So the Chargers are granting him permission to seek a trade. We'll kind of follow it up with saying we'll keep an eye on that situation to see if he's had any talks, where he might potentially land. I gave you a couple there. Lions, Patriots, Panthers. I mean, there's a couple other ones, but I like Carolina just like John does, as you see in that chat right there. But let's move on. The Saints. Everyone remembers Michael Thomas, right? I'm assuming so. Remember how good he was? Broke the all-time receiving receptions in a single season. Well, last season didn't have a great year. Okay, didn't have a great year at all. In fact, if we're looking at this correctly, Michael Thomas. Here we go. He wasn't a dog last year. Got 171 yards, 3 tutties. Okay, now that's coming off an injured year where in 2020 he only had 438 yards. But prior to that, his first 4 years in the league had over 1,000 yards. In 2019, where he had 149 catches, broke the reception record in a single season, he had 1,725 yards and 9 tutties. Dude was a savage, just like boxing said. Okay? However, he's going to remain a Saint, but on a little restructured new deal to help clear up some cap after landing Derek Carr. They got to add some other pieces, maybe defensively. They lost a couple already, one of them being Marcus Davenport to the Minnesota Vikings. That happened late last night. Pumped about it. Skull Vikes, baby. But this is per Adam Schefter. The Saints restructured Michael Thomas's contract, reaching agreement on a 1-year, $10 million deal that has a max value of $15 million per source. Michael Thomas is staying in New Orleans. I like it. I think that's smart. I really do. Because what happens if he just has an absolute breakout year with Derek Carr? I think he could. The chances of it happening, probably not too great, especially after last season, but their team didn't look great at all, to say the least. Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, who's going to be the guy, which speaking of Andy Dalton, we'll get to him in just a few minutes. But there's some news on this. Like boxing said, they need him. They need him big time to pair with Chris Olave. This was a nice signing I seen earlier today. I am all for it. I am all for Michael Thomas back with the Saints on a 1-year, $10 million deal. After that, there's more. No, Adams couldn't help Carr. But maybe that just means Carr is that bad. Maybe. You can tell me if I'm wrong. But maybe that's just the fact. We got some Vikings news coming up right here. I talked about it in my Minnesota Vikings Syndicate video today. Had to bring up Kirk Cousins. We talked about that earlier, but there was another signing that the Vikings decided to do. And that, ladies and gentlemen, well, was bringing back center Garrett Bradbury. Per Mike Garafolo, the Vikings have reached agreement with center Garrett Bradbury to return to Minnesota. Sources say the 2019 first-round pick remains Kirk Cousins' center. Now, if you don't remember, prior to last season, the Vikings declined his fifth-year option. That was basically mean this is a prove-it year. You do good, you're back on the squad. You do shitty, see you later. How you doing? Keep it moving. However, he performed decently after getting put on his behind multiple times in training camp, struggling to get it figured out. He had a decent season, not the greatest year in the world, but it's a 3-year deal for the Minnesota Vikings and Garrett Bradbury for $15.75 million, sources said. So Garrett Bradbury back in Minnesota. I'm excited for this one. I think it's a decent pick. What it basically does for us is give us an opportunity to kind of build the other positions on the offensive line. For instance, right guard, need an upgrade. Big time. Or we could draft the center, John Michael Schmitz, out of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and then move Bradbury to guard. Move him to the right guard. I don't see that happening. I just think that'd be the smartest decision to do. But if we have our eye on a right guard right now, currently in the draft, take him. Otherwise, let's sign one, okay, before they're all gone. Because we see Nate Davis go to the Bears. We seen, somebody really good, McGlinskey or something like that from the 49ers go to the Denver Broncos or something like that. There was a lot. Are you happy with the re-signing? I am. I'm all for it. I think it's a good signing. Garrett Bradbury back with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, if you would have asked me if I liked this at the beginning of last season, no. Nope. Not a chance. But if you also would have asked me if he had a shitty year, if we re-signed him, would I like it? No. Not at all. The only reason I like it is because it gives us the opportunity to focus on other positions and not have to worry about the center position for at least 3 more years. At least. Otherwise, if we find somebody else that's better in the draft or via free agency, we can sign them, trade Garrett Bradbury, get him out of town. Yeah, what's his nuts? You like that? But yeah, man, I like it a lot. I think Garrett Bradbury back with the Minnesota Vikings is a good signing. It's a smart signing, and we'll see where we go from there. So we have that down. Another one. As what's his nuts say? DJ Khaled. It's DJ Khaled. Per Ian Rappaport. Oh, I did not. Oh, this ain't per Ian Rappaport. Apparently, the Detroit Lions ended up signing cornerback Emmanuel Mosley to a 1-year deal worth $6 million. That's a good signing for Detroit. They're looking for DB help, and they get one in Emmanuel Mosley. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what he's been able to do over his tenure. Let's see right here. Boom, pull it up. Bada bing, bada boom. He had 22 total tackles last year, 1 interception. Basically, every year he's played, he's had at least 1 pick. You're going to get about 40 tackles out of him, except for last year. I'm not sure what happened there. But he's played with San Fran for a couple of years now, and now he finds himself in Detroit. I don't know him either, but I think it's more DB help for Detroit. That's basically all that signing was. But maybe there's going to be more incoming for them. 1 year, $6 million for Emmanuel Mosley and the Detroit Lions. All right, now we can get to the real stuff. This one was kind of cool as well. Philadelphia Eagles, in the past, they kind of struggled with their running back room, right? Except for this past season where they had Miles Sanders and Boston Scott finally got a fire lit under their behind and ran all over the field, did their thing, had fun, okay? Went to the Super Bowl, lost. Bummer. However, per Ian Rappaport, source, the Eagles have agreed to terms with Seahawks running back Rashad Penny. In short stints, Rashad Penny has been one of the best backs in the National Football League, averaging over 6 yards per carry. Philly lands a back with big-time upside. Now, with this signing, that means Boston Scott and Miles Sanders probably out of the building. Wait, no. I think they re-signed Boston Scott, Miles Sanders seeking other destinations to kind of go to. This one was a good one as well. John, what do you think about this signing for the Eagles? Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny. He didn't have too bad of a year. Now, remember, he was hurt, at least, from the majority of the season. Only 346 yards, 2 tutties. But in 2021, he had a good year, 749 yards, 6 tutties. I like it, too. I think Philly got a good one. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. I believe they still have Boston Scott. I can't remember. I think they kept one of those two, and the other one's kind of saying, see you later, adios, amigo. So he's out of the building. Yes, he is good in spurts. So they're gonna need a nice duo to kind of complement him a little bit, to help him out a little bit. But Rashad Penny lands in Philly. Okay, yeah, that's a good comparison. I like that. Okay. Doesn't quite run like LeGarrette Blount, but I can see, yes. If Sanders stay. I can't remember. Off the top of my head, I think it was Sanders that is going to be leaving the Eagles. But, you can look that up if you really want to. But I think that is what happened. But either way, him and Sanders would be phenomenal. Him and Boston Scott would be okay. But Rashad Penny ends up in Philadelphia. Not really sure on the full details of the contract. Take big speed. Okay. I like it. I can see that. Tank Bigsby. All right, shout out to everyone tuning in tonight on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure to drop that like, subscribe to the channel. It'd be much appreciated. If I just kind of ramble off, it's because I'm talking to the YouTube chat. But don't be afraid to chime in on Facebook if you are willing to. Don't have to. I can read your comments on here anyways. So let's go. Eagles should keep Sanders. I 100% agree. I 100% agree because Miles Sanders, he was a stud last season. He did his thing. I really liked what he brought to the table. He had 1,269 rushing yards, which was 5th in the NFL. Okay, he had 11 touchdowns, which was 8th in the NFL. Averaged 4.9 yards per carry, which was 13 in the National Football League. In the postseason, 2 tutties, 148 yards. How do you do receiving? See all. Let's see. So receiving last year, 78 yards, 2 fumbles, no tutties. Okay, so he's more of a running back. Yeah, right. I agree, John. 100%. So if Miles Sanders stay and you got Rashad Penny, I like that duo. Yeah, he did have a damn good season. 1,200 yards, almost 1,300 yards rushing for Miles Sanders. So Miles Sanders, Rashad Penny, let's see if that duo is worth a damn. I'm sure it could be. I'm sure it will be. But that was a big one. Another big one, which we've been waiting for Aaron Rodgers for, I don't know, forever. Okay? We did this shit last season. We're doing it again. Where's he going? Is he staying in Green Bay? Is he going to be a Jet? Is he going to retire? What is on Aaron Rodgers' radar? We have no clue, other than the fact that he went into the darkness for about 4 days, came out on the other side and said, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to let things brew a little bit more. Well, Woody Johnson, I believe the owner of the New York Jets, flew his private jet, okay, out to California to meet with Aaron Rodgers, had Sauce Gardner kind of recruiting him and stuff like that. They had a good conversation. There was reports or conflicted reports that came out and basically said that, hey, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets is basically a done deal. No, wrong. Hasn't happened. Nothing's happened yet. We don't know what's going to happen. But just like boxing said, just like boxing MMA said, the New York Jets are going to land former wide receiver Allen Lazard from the Packers, and they are finalizing a 4-year deal worth $44 million with the New York Jets. As Schultz report said, he gets $22 million in guarantee. Aramirov follows it off with saying Aaron Rodgers might be next, because Aaron Rodgers earlier today released a checklist. Like, this is what I want you guys to do in order for me to come here. Okay? You're gonna sign Allen Lazard. You're gonna sign Mercedes Lewis. You're gonna sign OBJ, and I can't remember if it was, I don't think it was Randall Cobb because I think he retired or something like that. But one domino has fell. Now let's bring in Mercedes Lewis, okay? Once that domino falls, then you just got to wait for the OBJ signing. And once that domino falls, Rodgers is confirmed to the Jets. Until further notice, he's a Green Bay Packer. He has not retired, but he is seeking options, or they are having talks. It doesn't mean that he's going to leave, because I don't know a damn thing what's going to happen. But Allen Lazard, big pickup. John says Jets are probably thinking we are taking him off your hands and don't need to pay up. Yeah, probably. They probably are. The Jets are going to be a different team, man. If they land Aaron Rodgers, think about this. They could win that damn division. Aaron Rodgers, Allen Lazard, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, thinking of the running back from Texas. Breece Hall in their backfield. James Robinson, I believe, is in their backfield. What if they sign OBJ? I mean, the only thing that team could do is maybe boost their defense. Maybe, but Sauce Gardner's an absolute freak of nature on that defense. Yeah, their defense ain't bad. For Aaron Rodgers, though, would you? Seems like they want to. They told Derek Carr, when Derek Carr came on that meeting, the Jets told him, look, we're interested in you, but we want to see what's happening with Aaron Rodgers first. We want to see what's happening with Rodgers first. And it is holding this whole thing up. Taking some time. Make your decision. Who do you want? Do you want Rodgers? Is there a quarterback in this year's draft that you're potentially thinking about trading up for? But if you want Aaron Rodgers, make the damn deal happen. Sick of waiting. Sick of waiting. But if that deal happens tonight, ooh, baby. But that's not going to happen because tomorrow, for those of you that are watching, I'm sure some of you watched the Pat McAfee show. Aaron Rodgers is going to be on for Aaron Rodgers. No, Wednesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Oh, doggy. All right. He's going to be on the Pat McAfee show at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Probably ain't going to get nothing out of it. He's not going to tell you a decision unless he does. I'd be shocked. But he will be on there. If you want to hear more from him, you can look at that. Should be interesting. But Allen Lazard is finalizing a 4-year, $44 million deal with the New York Jets. As the Schultz report said, gets $22 million in guaranteed. So that's another one off the list. We've talked a plethora. We still have more. Yeah. We still got more. So we heard about the Colts trading away Stephon Gilmore to Dallas, in which basically they got a bag of bones. Okay? The Colts only received a 5th-round compensatory pick. And all that basically did was clear cap space. That's all that move meant. He's going to the gym. Yeah. Yes. Bro, yeah, Pat's show is going to have a massive amount of viewers. But the Colts trade Stephon Gilmore. They also made another move. And this isn't for sure, but per Zach Klein, followed it up by Field Yates. Per NFL League sources, the Indianapolis Colts are planning to cut quarterback Matt Ryan. Seen this deal coming? Look, between trading Stephon Gilmore and releasing Matt Ryan, the Colts will have created $27.1 million in cap space. Like Field Yates said, flexibility for the team to reshape their roster. They're releasing Matt Ryan, signed him to that, 3-year deal. I can't remember the specifics of it, but it was a big deal. You're signing Matt Ryan, who's getting up there in age, probably not going to perform to the level that he has in the past, and you're going to keep riding it out with these old quarterbacks that aren't worth a damn. How's that panned out for you? You had Phillip Rivers, didn't work. Carson Wentz, well, he's young, but it didn't work. Then you roll with Matt Ryan. Didn't work. What are you going to do now? You hold the 4th overall pick in the draft. Sounds like the Colts are all in on drafting one of those guys, whether that's via trading up, staying at the 4 spot. But if you're staying at the 4 spot, you're banking on one of those top 3 teams to take somebody that you don't want. Or you're banking on them to not select the guy that you really want. So I guess it's the same thing, just word a little bit different. But I think the Colts trade up. They're releasing Matt Ryan, okay? That means what? They have Sam Ehlinger as their backup, right? Okay. So what are they going to do? Who are they going to go with? Who do you guys think the Colts draft? Do you think they trade up? You think they trade up to get a quarterback? Or do you think they sit right where they are? Be interesting to see. They're definitely going to draft one. I do not see them trading for any. I mean, unless they get Trey Lance from San Fran. But now, Jameis Winston, by the way, actually re-signed with the Saints last night. 1-year deal, I believe. I remember seeing that. So Jameis Winston is back with the New Orleans Saints as their backup quarterback for Derek Carr. I think it's a 1-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, they definitely should, boxing. I agree. The Colts need to trade up. But Matt Ryan is gone. See you later. How you doing? Keep it moving. They also did that. Stephon Gilmore's gone. The Colts clearing $27.1 million in cap space, which is flexibility, obviously, for the team to reshape that roster, which was atrocious last season. No offensive line. It was booty cheeks. CJ is the quarterback to get for them. CJ Stroud. Okay. There you have it. Boxing confirms. CJ Stroud to the Indianapolis Colts. Let's see what happens come draft night, which I believe is in April. Usually I have a draft show for the first round, at least during that day. However, buddies aren't around to do so. We could, but I am probably going to be doing like a live stream with my syndicate group so that we can break news on there and kind of enjoy the first round of the draft. So we'll see what happens. There's more planned, but Matt Ryan is going to be released, or already has basically been released by the Indianapolis Colts. All right, see you later, Matt Ryan. All right, 2 more things to get to before we look at the old Twitter to see what we missed this whole time. We've been live for about an hour. Shout out to all you watching. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Be much, much appreciated. All right, here we go. This was some breaking news as well. The Eagles are bringing back a familiar face. Per Adam Schefter, All-Pro cornerback James Bradbury is returning to the Philadelphia Eagles on a 3-year deal worth $38 million, including $20 million fully guaranteed and another $6 million in incentives per sources. Total package, $44 million. Cha-ching. I mean, if I had that, sound thing, we can make it, but I don't. So, hey, the Eagles bringing back All-Pro corner. This is a good move on their part. They just went to the Super Bowl, had a fantastic run. They ran through the NFC like it was nothing. Made it look easy, basically. Now they lock up that corner, okay? And they're already decent enough on defense. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I believe, is gone. He's a free agent. He's on the market currently. Maybe they decide to bring him back on a new deal. It'd be interesting to see how that works out. But Philly's doing everything in their power possible, or everything in their power to keep everyone that was on the team last season. Yeah, that is basically what's happening here. But 3 years. Basically, it's worth $44 million. Trying to re-sign their guys, I can't fault it. Great signing. 1,000,000%. Exactly. You want to bring back familiar faces. Chemistry, we all know, is one of the utmost important things in the National Football League. If you don't have chemistry with your teammates, you're kind of SOL. I think that's kind of saying it pretty simple right there. All right, so that's the next signing. And another one. All right. Remember Chicago. The Chicago Bears have been making moves. They hold the first overall pick, or they did hold the first overall pick in this year's draft. What did they do? Well, they trade that number 1 overall pick to the Carolina Panthers. In return, they get DJ Moore and a couple other things, I believe. So the Bears go back to number 9. Carolina is now sitting at number 1. What are they going to do? Well, obviously, everyone automatically assumes they're drafting a quarterback. They're getting a guy. Okay? That's what's going to happen. All right? They got Matt Corral. They're not going to roll with him. They're going to go get C.J. Stroud, or they're going to go get Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson, whatever they want. They're going to get that at the first overall pick. But hold your horses. Hold your horses. Because we had some breaking news before we went live. Yes, we did. Per Adam Schefter, veteran free agent quarterback Andy Dalton is expected to reach on an agreement on a 2-year, $10 million deal that includes $8 million fully guaranteed with the Carolina Panthers per source. Contract max value is $17 million. Andy Dalton to Carolina. Think about that. What is happening? What is Matt Corral really going to be the practice squad guy? You got Matt Ryan now, or not Matt Ryan, excuse me. You got Andy Dalton. Is he potentially going to be your backup? You take somebody number 1 overall. I think that's what this signing is. This signing is basically stating that Carolina is going to take a quarterback, okay, and he's going to start, but he's going to have Andy Dalton right behind him to put a little fire under his behind, get him going a little bit. And maybe they start the season with Andy Dalton as their starter. Maybe they do. Let the young guy learn a little bit. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's basically just saying, here's the guy that we're drafting number 1 overall. He's going to hit the field. If he struggles, boom, Andy Dalton's in. Basically showing him the ropes. But I think that's what this move is. Mentor, exactly. This is a perfect signing for Carolina. Perfect. I could not agree more. Andy Dalton to Carolina. Had that season with the Saints last year, if we're looking correctly. Andy Dalton. Boom. All right. Here we go. 2,871 yards, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, had a quarterback rating of 95.2. Not bad. Not too shabby. It's basically what you're going to get out of him. 2,500 to 3,500 yards, 15 to 20 touchdowns, unless you're in his prime, and about 10 interceptions from Andy Dalton. I like this signing. A mentor, like John said. Andy Dalton is a Carolina Panther. Probably going to be happening or finalized tomorrow. Now remember, if you don't know, all of these deals that we're talking about, everything that is happening right now, currently, is only agreements. Nothing is finalized or will be finalized until tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time when the new league year begins. Okay, so 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the new league year tomorrow will start. Then all of these deals will officially become official. Okay, they will be actually inked in pen. All these teams will kind of look a little different. And that also means that every single team, for their players anyways, or every single player that is currently under contract, their contract becomes set in stone tomorrow at 3 p.m. Bam. Like bada bing, bada boom. You have to be below the cap space. Every single team does. I'm pretty sure there's a couple teams that still need to make some moves to get under that cap. It's going to be done because it has to be done, but there's still more things to happen, which tomorrow we'll have a coverage of that as well. I'll probably be releasing a lot of videos. I have the day off tomorrow, so I'm pretty pumped about that. But now that we've gotten through all the basic news that I wrote down before the show started, let's catch up on what is actually happening currently as we stand here right now. Okay. All right. So back on that Andy Dalton, it says, Ian Rappaport, as part of the Colts trade to acquire Matt Ryan, his agent negotiated a new contract that included $12 million guaranteed in 2023. That was not in his previous contract. Ryan remains entitled to $12 million regardless of what he decides to do this season. If he retires, $12 mil. If he goes somewhere else, $12 mil. Whatever he wants to do, he's getting $12 million. That's all you need to know. Okay, and that's not Andy Dalton, that's Matt Ryan. Oh, big signing. The Dallas Cowboys land Stephon Gilmore earlier today, re-signing Donovan Wilson, their safety, who's a stud. They are also signing back linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, source said, giving him a 2-year deal worth $11 million. They get back one of their top defenders. That's per Ian Rappaport. I like that move. I wish the Vikings would have tried to make something happen. I mean, 2 years, $11 million. I mean, what are we doing? We can do that. We can sign that. Didn't happen. He's back with the Dallas Cowboys. The Seattle Seahawks, per Tom Pelissero, are finalizing a deal to bring back D-tackle Jaron Reed on a 2-year deal. Pretty stellar. Pretty stellar. Okay. That deal is now done, Ian Rappaport said, for Jaron Reed back to the Seattle Seahawks. 2 years, max of $10.8 million. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Per Ian Rappaport, the Chargers are releasing starting guard Matt Fuller. I think I said his name right. If I didn't, sorry about it. Source said he had an $8.5 million cap hit for 2023. So there's a right guard or a left guard, whatever the case may be. He's a guard on the market. Minnesota, make a move. Make a move, baby. We need him. Go sign him. All right. Damn. Vikings and all-pro long snapper Andrew DePaola or whatever, butchered that again, reached an agreement on a 3-year, $4 million contract that includes $2.2 million guaranteed, the largest guarantee given to a long snapper per his agent Sean Stellato. Hell yeah, Vikings get a long snapper. That's the news I needed to hear today. Don't care. Don't care at all. Okay? Cool. All right, so we got a roundup of the latest news. Ooh, the Broncos signed running back Samaje Perine to 2 years, $7.5 million. We did not talk about that. I do like that as well. They still, I believe, have Javonte Williams, so now they add Samaje Perine right behind him. Great deal for the Denver Broncos there. Samaje Perine, running back for Denver. What else is there? Right tackle was signed. Cool beans. All right, here we go. Some moves on Adam Thielen potentially. Ian Rappaport is tweeting, this is interesting. The Panthers are expected to host former Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen on a visit tomorrow. The veteran has plenty left, and Carolina will get the first look. Now remember, they lose DJ Moore to the Chicago Bears. They need a wide receiver. Now they land Andy Dalton. They're definitely going to draft a quarterback. Why not give that guy a weapon? Adam Thielen is visiting the Carolina Panthers. We'll see what's happening on that front. Remember, it's only a visit. Nothing is set in stone. But, hey, Carolina would be a fantastic place for Adam Thielen to end up. I would be okay with that. I think Carolina would be good, but they're not going to win their division because I bet somebody $20 that Carolina's not going to win their division because he thinks they're going to win the division. So, and that ain't going to happen. But Adam Thielen might be joining the Panthers. He's on a visit tomorrow. Has he actually? I guess probably. I have not been able to bet because I'm not in a legalized state. The only time I did is when I went down to Tennessee not too long ago, back in January. Put down some money, lost it all, but that's what you get for gambling, you know? That is what you get for gambling. New England is re-signing Jabril Peppers to a 2-year deal. Is there any... Nope, money has not been released yet. So Jabril Peppers back with the New England Patriots. Like that. I like that a lot. The Ravens are re-signing cornerback Trayvon Mullen to a 1-year deal. This is the guy that went on his Instagram with an Uzi and was like throwing it around, saying some crap and just like letting it fly basically. I think hopefully he figured his life out and stopped acting like an idiot, realized that there's millions of dollars on the table. But Trayvon Mullen back with the Ravens on a 1-year deal. Ow. Oh, you're from Ireland? Let's go. Let's go, man. Gambling is like a national... It should be a national sport. What I don't understand is, like, why is it illegal? Why is it illegal to take the money that I've earned, the money that's my money, and just throw it on a game? What's so wrong about that? You're telling me I can't bet my own money to either gain some back or lose it all? Who are you to tell me I can't spend my money on that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Legalize it. Okay? Legalize it. It's going to be legal everywhere at some point in time. But I just don't like the fact that people are telling me, oh, you can't spend your money on this because it's illegal. Well, why can't I? What if I lose it all? That's your money then. You're making that money if I lose it. I just got to be smart at gambling. Makes no sense. Exactly. You should be able to do what you want. Well, not for some things. Okay? We got to make that clear for some things. But gambling, I mean... That's your own choice. I can go to a casino and go to the slots or go to the blackjack table, but I can't put a sports bet down on an over-under or a money line. Or, hey, it's so dumb. It is so dumb. I hate it. I hate it. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Anything else? Okay, we got a deal here right here. Let's go. Adam Schefter, former 49ers free agent, defensive end Samson Ebukam? Sure. Reached agreement on a 3-year, $27 million max deal with the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, let's go. That includes $11 million in the first year per Jay Fowler, ESPN, and Adam Schefter. Cameron Foster and Kriska Bott confirmed and negotiated the deal. Okay, Samson Ibukam, something like that, is now in Indianapolis Colts. They get a much-needed pass rusher to put next to Yannick Ngakoue on the other side. I'm liking that. Good deal for them. Massive signing. They need to work on their offensive line, but who am I to talk? I'm not a GM. I don't know what I need or what they need to do. So Indianapolis Colts locks up another one. Raiders signing a fullback to a 1-year deal. Cool beans. So that is basically what we have today. Not a lot. There was a lot. There was a lot to talk about today. I'm surprised I got all of the graphics up and was able to do it in time. I was going to do some videos. I decided not to. I decided to just get ready. Let's just give the guys what they need. If you have any friends or something like that are looking for the latest scoops in the insides on day 2 of the legal tampering period or the free agency opening, send them on over. Send them on over. Make sure they subscribe. I appreciate everyone who tuned in today. Means a lot. We've done a crazy amount of work these past couple days. Like, I'm telling you, Saturday we were in here for 6+ hours live streaming the XFL. And then Sunday we were in here for 6+ hours live streaming the XFL. And then yesterday we were in this studio right here for 8.5 hours. I was in here at 1. I didn't leave here until about 10. So that'd be 9 hours. Oh my God. 9 hours yesterday. I've been putting in work, and it's been a blast. I cannot thank you guys enough. We'll probably be back here for a live stream tomorrow, more videos. I appreciate the love, boxing. I appreciate it much. Grinding doesn't stop. Never will. Lost myself for a second, but we back, baby. And we're having fun doing it. Lots of moves being made. There's more to come, I'm sure, as soon as we get off the air. We're going to see more tweets, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure to drop a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. It would be much, much appreciated. Have a great one, folks, and you just got your fix with the Wicks.